Yeah. Okay. There we go. And could you see the got it on my screen, just out of curiosity?
Yes.
We all do.
Okay, I could never quite figure those things out. So welcome to the Rotary Club of Sebastopol Sunrise, February 16th, 2022, believe it? Building community meeting. Recording has started. So Linton Hale, are you here to lead us in the pledge?
Linton, absent.
Who has memorized the Pledge of Allegiance and would step forward?
I will.
We got a Boy Scout in the crowd, you know.
All right, I heard an I will. I think it was Jerry.
It was
Okay.
actually,
Let's go. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and to
to
the
the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Joe
Hi, Phyllis.
Gazowitz, I know you're there. Trust us a
DMR.
note, sir.
So as I glance out my window here this morning, I see the sun. So a little bit of "You Are My Sunshine," beginning with the verse. Here we go. The other night, dear, as I was sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken, and I hung my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Hopefully you turned up the volume when that was going on. It will get your spouses and loved ones out of bed. Our greeter, Charlie Judson. I don't know that I saw you, Charlie, but everybody was greeting everybody, and it's lovely to see folks out there. Thank you for being here. Thought for the day, Jerry.
All right. Well, today's quote is just 2 words, but they're very profound and they'll get you thinking. I first became aware of them when our daughter Audrey showed us her new tattoo. In large letters on her forearm was "fail better." Now, as an actress in college, she was studying theater of the absurd playwright Samuel Beckett.
Mhm.
And she adopted those words to live by from a line of one of his stories that goes, "Ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail better." And so we can all live by that now, along with Audrey.
Amen.
Thank you. That's brilliant. Okay, visitors and guests. I can't see. Who do we have out there that is not usually with us?
I'd like to introduce my lovely wife here, sitting by me, Phyllis.
hi, Phyllis.
Hi, Phyllis.
Wonderful to see you.
Good morning.
Phyllis.
Anybody else? And here we go. Time to mute all, please. And remember that you can always push the space bar or click on unmute yourself. Then remember to remute later in case your dog starts barking.
Unmute yourself, David.
You're muted, David.
David, you're muted.
It's a speed meeting.
David, you're muted. David, you're muted.
David.
It was great seeing everybody this morning. Have a great day.
Okay, I'm getting almost ready for hitting stop share. Let me get rid of this bar at the top. There. That
You're
thing
good.
bugs me. All right, so if you haven't done so yet, please do visit our website. I know I keep harping on it, but until we get 100%, I'm gonna keep
ARPA
saying $40 in January, $40 in February, and we do need the money. We continue to have expenses, even if we are not meeting in person. Bill Schlutius. Now, I called Bill Schlutius and didn't hear back from him, but it is Bill Schlutius's birthday, February 21st, and we were here to remind him. So I don't think Bill's in the audience, didn't see him when we were going in, but there it is. Give him a call, say hi to him. He's busy working. And Jim Glom, guess what? It's your member anniversary.
Yeah. Well, this has been a real journey for me being in Rotary. And I had to remember the path I took to get here. And it started with a friend and mentor telling me that it would be good to perform community service. So I went to Malcolm, who was sitting on the bench below my office, a homeless man, and said, "What can I do for you?" And he started me on a path of doing the sack lunch program. And then soon after that, I met Terry on the town square, who invited me to come to the Rotary Club. And Ken Brandt became my member, my mentor, and my big brother. I sat by him every morning at breakfast and was groomed by him, and appreciated that very much. And then I've seen each president since then go through a metamorphosis that has been so inspiring to me, that they start the presidency and they grow through it, through the arms of Rotary, and become better people and very inspiring ones. And finally, I'd like to give a thumbs up to Michael McLaughlin, who has taught me to get over myself. And he has so much fortitude. It's just incredible. And he's constantly an inspiration to me in Rotary. So thank you all. I love you all. And I feel fortunate to be your friends.
Wow. Well, thank you, Jim. And we are fortunate to have you. We should commemorate your anniversary every year, which I think we will. And you certainly have grown and done amazing things through it. You continue to this day working on feeding people and helping out with that and making that difference. It's a good day that you walked down and met Malcolm and started on this path. And we're grateful for all that you do. Thank you, Jim.
And how is Malcolm doing, by the way?
He's doing so well. I
Good.
saw him yesterday. He looks great. He looks healthy. He's strong. And man, he's my hero. And I'm so glad I met him. And I'm so glad that he improved himself like he did.
Does he
Tell
have
him
a
hi
roof?
from all of us.
Does he have a roof over his head still?
Yeah, he does.
Nice.
Great.
He's constantly helping others. He did before I met him, and he still does.
Great.
There's a life improved by our involvement.
Oh, definitely.
The power of one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dan Needham, are you on here? Well, if Dan were, he would.
I'm here.
There you are.
So I took my nephew over to Ives Park to show him some of the improvements that we did to the stage and the playground this year, and some of the other Rotary projects that we've done. So he thought he was pretty impressed. You know, he's 8 years old and he uses the park all the time. And you know, he was happy to hear that we worked on both of the playgrounds that he enjoys a lot. And so I said, okay, well, give it the thumbs up, the 8-year-old seal of approval. So we took this picture and it was fun. So bring all your nieces, nephews, grandkids to the parks and have them have fun, but show them a little bit what Rotary did. It was a lot of fun and he liked it.
Thank you. And thanks to everybody who helped that into fruition. Hey, Terry Kelly, getting a lot of press here, huh?
Can't hear you, Terry.
He's formulating.
There
his
we go.
response.
Sorry, yes, we are. Well, I'm not. But my son and two partners opened a restaurant in Hillsburg in late December and are doing great. It's a wonderful place to stop and have a small plate or a couple of small plates and a nice cocktail or beer or anything. It's they've done a wonderful job converting it. It's in Hillsburg in the old site where Mateo's used to be, right on Hillsburg Avenue as you roll into town, just past the roundabout.
Oh, yeah.
Currently open Thursdays through Mondays. Yeah, Thursdays through Mondays, 11:30 to midnight, or yeah, 11:30 to midnight. So if you're going through there, stop in if you want to have a meal. Right now, reservations are really helpful because they've been that kind of busy. But it's it's really fun to watch and see. And what you're seeing here is a review they had over the weekend from Heather Irwin in the Press Democrat, and it's probably one of the nicest reviews I've seen her write. So,
Yeah.
and I'm a little prejudiced about that, but
Well, she
great
was
spot.
very enthusiastic. The chicken tenders, she said, I was skeptical of chicken tenders, and now she's an, oh my God.
I think even Jane Hensey would like them.
Well, I'm hoping that there will come a time in the not too distant future that we can, you can say, hey, let's all get there. I blocked out some tables and a bunch of us can go up there, have a little eating party and the cocktails, right? Maybe we'll have to find a room.
Or an Uber. I'm
Or a bus.
actually talking to George Dutton. I'll see him next week about
nice.
doing a joint First Friday up there in late this year, this Rotary year. So May or June. It just kind of depends because they're still figuring it out. But we were in there for lunch a couple days ago and they were slammed, which is wonderful to see. But I think we do want to do that at some point and run up for First Friday.
Nice. Okay. Looks like there were 5 guys wandering around in a fog. Monday's magic moments. Show up there at 7:30 at Hop Monk and you can go. Phyllis.
Hello,
Phyllis
everybody.
Meshlem. Let me read a little introduction. Phyllis Meshlem is the current poet laureate for Sonoma County. She wrote Land of My Father's War, winner of an Artists Embassy International Prize. Phyllis authored 4 other titles and taught for California Poets in the Schools for 2 decades, 9 of those as area coordinator and 13 as coordinator of Poetry Out Loud. And Phyllis, are you going to read Wartime Wedding from your book, Land of
Yes,
My
I am.
Father's War?
Yes.
Thank
that's
you.
Where it's from. Thank you for inviting me. And I just want to say that this poem includes a quote from William Blake, and it's from his book, For the Sexes. And this poem is the first poem in a section. Most of the poems in that section are collage poems taken from the words of my parents' love letters to each other while they were separated during World War II. Anyway, this one is not like that, but it introduces a section, and it's called Wartime Wedding. Dad knock-kneed in a June white suit. Mom shyly, slyly, lacy and laced. They married in 41 in a town of 800, girdled by cornfields. Spoke their I do's in her family's funeral parlor to the ravings of Miss Bertha's violin. Doubts crouched in a horsehair sofa, the parlor's pallor offset by ruddy roses a few blooms serving double duty in those weary waste not days. Fervor found a channel, the ford its mapped path to the yellow-bellied bass of Gull Lake, Mrs. Hawkinson's honeymoon pancakes. I don't know what a wedding in a crypt or the entrails of a fish might augur. Still, in a voice over time, I speak in favor of a constancy of kindness. Propose a toast by quoting Blake. Mutual forgiveness of each vice, such are the gates of paradise. That's it.
That's lovely. A love poem, fitting for our season, and we're so grateful to you. So people can get your book. How would they learn? How would people do that?
Well, Copperfields in Sebastopol has a few copies.
Perfect.
And last I heard, Many Rivers and Tea also had some copies. But you can also get it through the publisher, Cherry Grove Collections.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
Thank you for inviting me.
And an attitude of gratitude. Is there somebody in the audience who would like to make a contribution to the Rotary Foundation, our club foundation, or commit to a personal act of kindness?
I will.
Jerry.
I'm so proud of Phyllis for her poet laureateship, or whatever it's called, whatever verb or noun you make out of it. And also so proud of my daughter, Audrey, the former roller derby queen, who will be part of the introduction also to our speaker today. And to my other daughter, Robin, who, by the way, is coming on the hike on Monday. There will be a woman on the hike on Monday. So come on, all you women, you'll have some company. We're going to go to the coast. And anyway, I will make a contribution to the Rotary Foundation in honor of my wonderful family.
A fitting tribute. Thank you, Jerry. Anybody else?
I have a contribution to make. It's kind of a sad thing. Someone I know and love died recently from complications from COVID, and he was a wonderful, generous man. And I think I'll just leave it at that. And I want to make a contribution to the Rotary Club Foundation for his recognition of how he's helped us over the years. And supposed to say them out. $200 to Rotary Foundation.
Saying the amount is of course at your option, but that's a very generous donation and a wonderful tribute. Sorry for your loss, and it sounds like it's everybody's loss. So
he was a really special person. He had very, very strong ideas. I don't know if I should mention who he was, or some of you might know him. But he had very, very strong ideas that are different than mine, but he was the kind of person who would just extend love to everybody, and if he felt he needed to, he would just pray for you. But he had just a very rare ability to treat people as family, no matter who they were. So I miss him.
Well, thank you for that, and a very fitting tribute. And if he's listening from the wherever prayers go, then I'm sure that he's honored. So things to add to your calendar. 7:30 a.m. at Hot Monk. Go to the coast, and it's as you heard, it's an event. So Joe or Dan usually are aware of where people are going, and I see emails from them regularly. February 21st is coming Monday, 5:30, the board meeting. Everybody is invited. There's going to be a lot of topics, but one thing I think that's a hot topic for everybody is when is it right for us to open up meetings to in person? So the board will be discussing that. If that's of interest to you, please do show up and give your input. I don't think there's a person in the club that doesn't look forward to that.
That be on Zoom?
Yes, that'll be on Zoom.
So do we just go to the same site, the Sunrise Rotary site?
Go to the club calendar. Go to the club calendar, look at the date, and just click on that date. You will see the meeting link. That's where the meeting link is. Okay, so club calendar, Rotary Club of Sebastopol Sunrise Club calendar. Okay, International Committee on the 23rd at 8:30 following our meeting. Michael, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, and February 24th. Dan, you want to talk about the events that that you've got on the calendar here?
So the 24th, which is a Thursday, usually go Wednesdays, but it's a Thursday. So we're doing that in combination with the Rotary Club of Sebastopol, 2 to 4, and you can sign up. There's a link on our club calendar there as well. And of course, community services meeting on the first Monday, and then got a couple of cleanups, or one cleanup, the Sebastopol Post Office landscape. Both Rotary clubs and the Interact folks are going to show up there, and so bring some gardening gloves and hand tools and things if you want. And we need a few people. Many hands will make a light work. One of our more public places that we all pop in from time to time needs a little TLC. And then morning of March 8th, the series community project that feeds folks with severe illnesses will, they're moving their location and their garden. And
Really?
Monday morning, March 8th is going to be a volunteer day that both Rotary clubs again will be at. So see some of your noon club friends and make new ones. And I'll get more timing out of that as well. They need some other volunteers on other days, so maybe I'll send out an announcement that with so there might be other times that would fit with people's schedules. Lots of fun.
Yep, and lots happening in both your the Community Services Committee and the International Committee and membership. So Kathy Rogers, March 4th, got a plan?
Oh, March 4th, we decided last night for Hot Monk.
No.
I mean, no, not Hot Monk. Oh my God, what am I saying? Wood Four. Wood Four. We decided on Wood Four, and we actually decided on the following month. You guys, Papa see polio, right? So we actually have 2 months in a row.
That's
There you
planning
go.
ahead. Beautiful.
Nice. Okay, and I think we covered that. Let's move forward to any other announcements for the good of the order or things we should know about.
I have an announcement for West County Community Services.
Mhm.
Last Saturday, we began a Zumba class at 9 a.m. It was our first class, and we had about 11 participants. And so if anyone in our Rotary Club is interested in doing Zumba with West County Community Services, join us this Saturday at 9 a.m.
Just in case there's somebody who doesn't know what Zumba is, can you tell us?
Yeah, Zumba is a form of exercise where they incorporate dance moves like bachata, salsa, hip hop, R&B into the exercise routine.
Where is it?
It's at our senior center in Guerneville, off of the Armstrong's Woods Road. And I will put the address in the chat box.
Lovely. And the time and date and all of that good stuff. Maybe our hiking group or First Friday could take some lessons, and we'll have some photos with new poses.
Yes.
Maybe a little movie.
It is a lot of fun. I encourage the joining in on exercising with Zumba.
Good, healthy stuff.
Do you want to talk about TikTok after the meeting for whoever wants to stay?
So David and mentioned that he wants to go ahead and put it on the agenda for the board meeting on Monday.
The board meeting. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, first good spot to discuss it, see how people feel. So next week's presenter is Elba Cavazos, who's equity reporter for Sonoma West Publishing. Everybody's going to want to hear about that. Kind of exciting that we've got an equity reporter for our local news. And today's presenter, Jerry, would you please do the honors?
Sure, thank you. My daughter Audrey is a student in Monterey in translation and interpretation, and she told me she's volunteering at a Rotary health clinic doing translation or interpretation for Spanish-speaking clients there. And I thought, well, that's a Rotary project, started as a Rotary project. It'd be great to have somebody from the clinics there from that program. So today it's my pleasure and honor to introduce Jatinder Pal Kaurasahi, or JP, who is the Chief Executive Officer for Rotary Bay Area. She started in 2015 as the Director of Clinic Operations, and now as the CEO, she's responsible for providing oversight, clinic operations, development, and management support to advance the organization's mission, as well as participating in program and strategic planning, evaluation, and fund development. So I'm very excited to hear about the project, and here is JP.
Thank you. Good morning. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I have been having issues with my speaker lately, so it seems to be good. I'm going to share my screen. I do have a presentation, and thank you for inviting me. Now I kind of understand a little bit more about the relationship and how I came here. So I enjoy presenting to Rotary clubs. Our base for Rotary clinics, we were started by Rotary, and we have a long-standing relationship with Rotarians. And I myself am a Rotarian. I am part of the Hayward Club and been part of that for over 5 years now. So thank you for inviting me, and hopefully, you know, this will have some questions for you at the end that I will answer. So Rotary Bay Area, I'll talk about it in a little bit, but our overall impact in the Bay Area is we provided over $1 million in charity care in 2020. And that was with COVID and with our clinics. And I'll kind of talk a little bit about how we did that. Rotary, as was mentioned in the introduction, we were founded in 1989 by Rotarians. Dr. Campbell took out his little bag along with John Fisher, who was also a district governor down here in 5170, and wanted to see patients out in the parks and other places. So our first clinic was in St. Agnes, and we served the uninsured, and more recently we've started serving the underserved. And I'll talk a little bit about what that means. We are a staff of 19 with 11 FTE, and we are very volunteer dependent. We are about 95% volunteer run. And we have, I'll talk about our locations. The way our management style works is we have a board of directors. We're a 501c3. Our board of directors consists of Rotarians, activists, finance individuals, attorneys, everyone, because in order to run an organization, you need people from every background. And we've been fortunate to have a very good and consistent and people who are interested in serving this type of population on our board. Our administrative staff, we run very lean. We have 3 people in our admin staff. Myself as the CEO, have a business manager who takes care of all the accounting and HR. And then we have an IT manager, which is a recent add-on to our organization. And I'll talk a little bit about why we added that on. So our funding, the way we get our funding is we're funded. We do not get any reimbursements from Medicare, Medi-Cal. We do not submit reimbursements for our visits. We have over 30 local Rotary clubs sponsoring us consistently. And then when we we've had 2 different Rotary International grants where we've had up to 50 Rotary clubs be a part of those grants. We are in 4 Rotary districts, 5150, 70, 60, and then 5230. So our clinics range from Monterey, the furthest south, to San Rafael, and then over east in Pittsburgh, and we have 10 clinics in between there. And our funding is by individual donors, grants, and foundations. So here's a breakdown of where we get our funding and how our funding sources are done. So 59% is grant support, and 20% individuals, and 15, and that's on average, is from Rotary clubs. So we have 10 clinics. Like I said, we're in 6 different counties. And the services we provide are urgent care, chronic care, and we have what are called transitional care clinics also at least 3 of our clinics. And those are where we take care of diabetics, hypertensive, and asthmatics, and try to get them in control so that they can take care of themselves. And this is done through not only medication, but also through exercise programs and healthy eating programs. So our first clinic, as I mentioned, was in San Jose. So the way our structure of our clinics is we have 1 staff member at each of our clinics. Some of our clinics will have 2 staff members, but typically they're part-time. They range from anywhere from 10 hours up to 40 hours, depending on how busy our clinics are. And each clinic is very different based on their local, the patients they serve, and the needs of the local community. So here's an example of our San Jose clinic and how the structure is set up there. So each of our clinics has a local advisory council. So we have our overall board, Rotacare Bay Area Board of Directors, and then each clinic has a local advisory council. So they're the eyes and ears, and they assist in our local community. And these are typically run by Rotarians. So the San Jose Rotary Club actually has a San Jose Rotacare committee within their Rotary Club, and they provide a lot of the advisory council. So they help with volunteer recruitment, they help with organizing the lunches or the dinners for our volunteers, and we typically get a lot of our physicians and others through word of mouth through there. So there each clinic also has a volunteer medical director. And our San Jose clinic has a total of 83 volunteers with 1 clinic manager that works 20 hours a week. And the San Jose clinic saw around 600 visits last year. And that was in 2021, and that was with COVID. So here's a list of all of our clinic locations. And the one unique thing that happened when 2019 and 2020 came around is we were already in the process of implementing an electronic health record. We started, when I came on board, it was one of the things that I wanted to do because I felt like we could do a lot of there's a lot of benefits to have an electronic health record. And we saw in 2020, had we not had that electronic health record, I don't know where we would be today. So we were able to transition to telehealth come April of 2020. And our 2021 patient numbers showed that we had over 50% of our visits were telehealth. And we were able to maintain our communication with our patients and the safety and being able to take care of those asthmatics and diabetics and hypertensives through the telehealth program. We were also fortunate that I was able to secure a grant for Rotacare through the FCC. It was a telehealth related grant where we were able to get funding for connected devices for our clinics and for our patients. So that included blood pressure monitors that were that could feed in with Wi-Fi into our electronic health record, scales and other machines. And it allowed us to also get some iPads and tablets so that we could distribute those to our patients who are the higher risk and didn't have those kind of devices, so we could easily communicate with them. You know, we do have one mobile clinic. Our Concord clinic is a mobile clinic, and that was the one that has been open more consistently because it's mobile. All of our other locations, we do what we call shared space with other clinics. So we're intermittent clinics. We are open 1, 2, up to 3 days a week. And we share space with other clinics. So if there's a clinic, let's see, let me give San Rafael as an example. So our San Rafael clinic's out of the Kaiser facility. So Kaiser lets us use their clinics in the evening time. They have been open twice a week. With COVID, they're now doing half telehealth and half in-person. So it allows us to not have our own dedicated space, but use space that's closed after hours. So here's some of the patients that the programs and the patients that we see. I've mentioned some of the chronic care patients. We did receive a Rotary International grant for transitional care clinic. That was for District 5160. That has now ended, but we're able to continue that program through funding through John Muir Health. We're also doing health education, healthy eating, and exercise programs, and that's something that we try to do at most of our clinics. And COVID has brought in some restrictions, but we've been fortunate. And you know, here, what were some of the impacts of COVID? We had to do a lot of patient outreach when COVID first happened. People didn't want to go outside. A lot of our patients are, you know, the working, and they had to go into work and they weren't able to come into our clinic. So we reached out to them over the phone. So we initially started with telephone appointments. As we were getting our video system up and running, we had to do our due diligence and find the best one that worked for us and for our patients. So we are doing telehealth appointments in collaboration with Zoom Health. It was an easier platform for our patients to use and how we can utilize it. It has different components to it, and our Zoom appointments and in-person appointments, because we have a lot of non-English speaking, may have up to 4 individuals, and those 4 individuals, one will be the patient, one will be the provider, and then depending on whether the provider needs a scribe or not, that person may be online, and then we will have an interpreter. So we make it the best appointment for our patients. And now we've been able to do telehealth and in-person visits. I know the last month our clinics have been closed again because of the surge, but now in February and March, they're getting ready to reopen in persons. So we'll do 1 week telehealth and 1 week in-person appointments and provide that consistency. So one other exciting thing is we are having our first virtual gala. I think we're all kind of experiencing different things through our virtual world. We're fortunate to be starting a new scholarship program in collaboration with Rita Moreno. And this is a scholarship program that will be available to our volunteers. And Rita Moreno has been a supporter of Rotacare, and she will be our host for that evening. So this is exciting for us. It'll be our first virtual event. So hopefully some folks from this club will be able to join. And with that, I will open it up to Q&A.
JP, I have a question. Thank you for being here and also affording my daughter an opportunity to practice her interpreter skills. But I'm just curious why you don't bill for Medi-Cal and those kinds of opportunities.
So looking at the definition of what a free clinic is, we have we've done a lot of strategic planning at our board level and discussed this. We're what you call the free clinic model. We do not reimburse, get reimbursements, and it would change our model. So right now, our electronic health record that we receive,
Uh-oh, you muted. Oh,
I can't, okay, there we go. Somehow I couldn't unmute myself. It's given through us through a grant program for free clinics. So that's the first major impact, is that we will start getting charged for EHR. And if anyone's been in healthcare, they know that EHR can be very, very expensive. So there's a lot of different impacts that our organization would have if we were to do reimbursements. It would change our whole model and our whole structure.
Thank you.
How many patients do you estimate or record that you see? Either pick one of the clinics at random or with all 10 of them?
Yeah, so our total patient visits for 2021 was close to 5,000. And that was with COVID. So we had to do a lot of patient outreach. So on a typical year, we'll see about 7,500.
Thank you.
Has this this model of care been replicated in with other Rotary districts around the country?
So we are one of the Rotacares and the largest one across the nation. There's a Rotacare Puget Sound up in Seattle. There's Rotacare El Paso. There was a Rotacare in New York that got taken over by Sisters. And John Fisher is the one who started all of these Rotacares. I don't know how many people are familiar with John Fisher, but he was our founder and very beloved to our organization. And then now there's Texas has a couple of Rotacares. You know, just across the country, wherever there's a need, there's a couple of other states that are trying to start up Rotacare clinics. And there's another organization called Rotacare Free Clinics that works to help start Rotacare clinics. So we have a whole red book on how to start it. So I will consult with those organizations starting up and tell them, here's some of the things you need.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you see someone, do you then often refer them to a hospital or other medical? Is yours just kind of the first observation of them?
So it varies. It really varies from patient to patient. If we see that they may qualify for like Medi-Cal, prior to COVID, we did have different days of the week. We would refer them to the Medi-Cal rep or social services that would come on site to us. A lot of individuals end up coming back to us. We do have contracts and with our local labs and hospitals to provide some diagnostics and blood tests and things like that. We also partner with organizations like Operation Access and Palo Alto Medical Foundation for referrals. We try to get them into a program if they can. We've found that in some areas, the local community clinics were not accepting new patients, or the wait to see was, 2 to 6 weeks, and sometimes patients don't want to wait that long.
JP, could we have people from our area use your services who are underserved or uninsured?
They are welcome to go to the nearest clinic. Our restrictions are you have to be in the state of California. So that's kind of our only restriction.
So could it be done by telephone?
Yes.
So they don't have to go to San Rafael?
Correct.
Okay. And how
we do take
West
new
County
patients.
Community Services serves the same population somewhat, right? one. Sorry, this is Mike Cook. So West County Community Services or Health Services is active in West Sonoma County, and I think they deal with uninsured also, so they'd be a natural ally. Yeah, I'd like to get together and compare notes, JP, because I work with a telemedicine program that operates in developing countries, and some of your strategies have probably help us. So I'm particularly interested in your evaluation role, where you look at your projects, I'm guessing, and try to assess and document the impacts you're having. So I'd like to get your contact information so we can talk offline about that.
I have put my email address in the chat if anyone wants to reach out to me.
Excellent, thank you. Oh.
I'll ask another question. You know, for the physicians and nurses, you know, the medical professionals that are volunteering, what's the typical longevity of people, you know, that once they get involved are interested in continuing on with that?
We typically, you know, we have quite a few volunteers who've hit the 10-year mark, the 5-year mark. I think the area where we get a lot of turnaround is probably like the scribe. They're usually the college students who want to get the experience. We do have relationships with different organizations, and we actually have, so let me take a step back. Our providers, nurses, typically, you know, at least 5 years. And then we have 2 residency programs that we work with. We work with Lifelong out of our Richmond clinic. They have a residency program in family and internal. And then John Muir Health has a internal med program, which they come out and do a rotation out of our Pittsburgh clinic. We also have relationships with nursing programs where they can come and do their externships, UCSF, the RN to NP program, and John Muir, the RN and the RN to NP program. And then our local community colleges, we have relationships and contracts with them where we'll provide them 6 to 8 weeks for like the medical assistant programs and the interpreter programs. So those are usually the shorter ones. But when we get to nurses and providers, their longevity is we've got some, you know, I see providers who've been with us for 20 years.
Okay, thank you. Are you connected? I think you were founded prior to Rotoplast, another Bay Area Rotary sponsored, you know, free. You know, they do the surgeries for cleft lip and palate worldwide.
Yeah, we have some overlap in volunteers, but other than that, we don't have any direct relationship with them.
All right, thank you very much.
There was a program out of Stanford when I was in a Rotary Club of Redwood City in the mid 80s. There was a program, and Rota Care sounds familiar. It wasn't Rotoplast that did cleft palate surgeries, very similar to Rotoplast does. But for the life of me, I can't think of who they were. Jerry, do you know them?
Interplast is another Bay Area one.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or if you need any additional information. You know, we're always looking for volunteers, and with things being through telehealth now, there's a lot of different types of volunteers that we can use electronically or virtually.
Well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, JP. That was wonderful, inspiring, and one more occasion where we get to see that Rotarians banding together get to change lives and make tremendous social differences for the better. Love the idea of free clinics. Have felt that movement as it grew out of the late 1960s, early 1970s is a wonderful one. So thank you for joining us today and for the people who brought you here. I want to let you know we would like to honor your visit and your work. We've purchased and placed library books in a local school with the orientation to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we will inscribe one of those books in your name so that students will, as they read the book, come across that and say, J.P. Sy, I've got to know more about that person. So thank you very much for your time with us today.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
And let's see if I can make this work. By July, I'll have this perfect. Linda Sinkay, make us laugh.
Okay. Thank you, President David. For our newer members, the tradition of telling a joke at the end of our meeting was born out of remembrance for one of our former members who passed away, Chuck Tilbury. Chuck was always good for a saucy joke, and this tradition is a fun way to remember him and the laughter he brought us. So here's today's joke in his honor. When a woman wears leather clothing, a man's heart beats quicker. His throat gets dry. He goes weak in the knees and he begins to think irrationally. Ever wonder why? Joe Gazdowitz knows. Tell us, Joe.
Linda, I do know. You know why?
Tell
She
us.
smells like a new truck.
Okay. Who would have known? Quite lovely. Just a thought, if you don't mind.
That could also be a new tractor.
Could be a new tractor. Heard that. Just another thought as we're not meeting in person yet, but soon will be. Many of you have been making regular contributions to the Rotary Foundation in the meeting, and you've missed that opportunity. Right back there on the club website, right up there where you go in to pay those member dues, is a way to tap into the Rotary Foundation. Go in there, set it up, and maybe think about setting yourself up as a Rotary Direct member. It's easy to do. Any questions, give me a ring. So, Joe, what do you say?
All right, here we go. Happy
trails
trails
to
to you.
Until we meet again.
Happy
Happy
trails to you. Keep smiling
until then.
Trails to you. Till we meet again.
Thank you, everybody.